beautiful. But Coach Wack joining us now. Hey, Coach, great to have you.
It's good to be on, and tell your son don't worry about the haircut. Hair grows back.
I'm going to tell him that because the other day, I swear, Coach, over the summer, he was like, you know what? I crossed VMI off my list. I don't want to get the haircut. I don't want to do it. I know they're looking at me, but, Virginia Tech, Radford. And then the other day he comes to me and he says, I'm thinking maybe VMI wouldn't be a bad choice if I just got to deal with the haircut because I saw one of my friends that just got recruited there, JT Inskeep. He looks pretty good in the uniform. So, Coach, you never know. I might be there every week watching him play pretty soon. Coach, you never know what life.
It's awesome. You couldn't play for a better coach than Jonathan Hadra. Just a class man, really knows baseball, and and again, the VMI education is second to none. And when you're done, you're in the top 1% earnings power for a lifetime. So, I think that's worth 4 years of having short hair.
I know, right? So
yeah,
I gotta. We got to keep we got to keep them on this, and but your VMI I'm going to get to football, Coach, I promise. But your VMI baseball team does a lot of recruiting in Hampton Roads. They've got several players that my son knows that committed there and entered there just recently. So your coaching staff on baseball does a lot of Southeastern Virginia recruiting. So, Coach, you never know, right? I might show up there in your office one day and say, hey, Coach, my son's pitching today. I got you an extra ticket. You never know. Okay, let's talk about your game coming up. Mars Hill at home, Lexington, 1:30, your home opener. Tell me a little about what to expect.
Well, their head football coach, Tim Clifton, has been there. This is his 25th season at Mars Hill, and he was assistant coach at VMI in 1983 and 1984, so he knows a little bit about us. They were very good on offense last season, scored 27 points a game and averaged 439 yards of offense, 280 of that passing. They like to throw it to their Division II All-American receiver, number 2, Craig Rucker. He's 5'7", 175 pounds, very quick, talented receiver. And then number 1, Tyler Ferguson, is on the other side, a 5'8", 175-pound senior receiver that was also All-South Atlantic Conference. Defensively, they basically have a 4-down front. They're multiple. They like to bring pressure. They gave SoCon co-champion East Tennessee State University a great game last season in their opener. Score was 7-7 at the half. Ended up 28-7 in favor of ETSU. So, really good football team, really well coached, and they like to air it out. So there'll be a lot of balls flying around Saturday afternoon in Foster Stadium.
It's going to be a fun game. It's certainly not going to be 3 yards and a cloud of dust like the old days. Coach Wachenheim with us. You're playing a Division II football team. How do you get your players up? I mean, is there a problem with motivation for that? Like, okay, we're playing a D2 team. We're at home. We're expected to win. What is your motivational technique here?
Well, I hope there's not a problem motivating them, and there sure hasn't been this week in practice because you just show them the ETSU film from last year, and you show them how they compete against a SoCon champion. Then, against Tusculum, who we fought hard to beat last year, who was in Mars Hill's conference, they lost a close game, 28-31. And so 2 years ago, we lost to another team in that conference, Catawba. So I believe Mars Hill has our attention. And then, Division II scholarships are a lot different than Division I, even though they have a lot less scholarship players than us. Division II players will go for a lot less money. It's more like baseball recruiting in that, you get guys for different prices. And so while they may only have 21 scholarships to split up or 36, which is the norm amongst Division II's teams, they split it up in so many ways that they actually have, more scholarship players on their roster than we do, guys on some form of assistance. And they're also usually full with a lot of really talented transfer players that, didn't make it work at whatever school they were at. And, they go to that school and they're a dominant player.
And they want to play. I mean, that's it.
Yep.
You get if you're at a Division I school and you're just not getting the time, you're not getting the PT for whatever reason, you want to play, you might go to a Mars Hill in order to get the PT, in order to get the playing time, get a look, maybe get better, and then go from there. That's, in the baseball world, that's what happens with the kids that go to a community college, right? They just need another year of development or whatever. So some of those teams are pretty good. That's really what you have to look out for. Coach, let's go to the game last week. Look, the team you played is going to the championship. I mean, that is a very good football team, the Thundering Herd. What did you learn about your team last week, Coach?
A lot of positives in the game. So, of the Marshall's 13 possessions, 8 of them they started behind their own 20-yard line. So we had 2 kickoffs where we tackled them behind the 20, which was just outstanding effort by our players hustling down. Brett Howell was the first one down there, all 3 of our kickoffs. So I was very impressed with that. 6 of our 9 punts were down inside the 21, one at the 2-yard line by a true freshman, Alderic Mulray. So, that was impressive that we were able to do that special teams-wise. And really, we only had one play on special teams that turned out poorly, but they were aided by a missed call when they blocked one of our players in the back. Also on special teams, 100% on our PAT and field goals tries, which people who have watched us the last few years will realize what a great accomplishment that was for VMI football. Another huge accomplishment, which has not happened much here at VMI, is we won the turnover takeaway battle 2-1. We got 2 takeaways from Marshall and only turned it over once, and that was our last offensive play of the game. So, Will Bunton with a great interception, Eric Weaver with a fumble recovery that was caused by Austin Barrett. I think you saw some of our explosive potential on offense with Reese Yadinsky to Javion Laura, and you saw the potential that Rohan Martin has in the slot. And then, if you take away the yards lost rushing due to sacks, our running backs average 4.1 yards per carry, which is a big improvement for us. Alex Ramsey carried 11 times for 45 yards, Corey Bridie 6 times for 25 yards, and 1 time for Tyan Smith for 5 yards. So, I was impressed with all those things out there. And the one thing that you don't really see is that Jared Richmond and Jordan Ward in the defensive line, stepped up, played tough, hard-nosed, physical football, and gave us a chance, in that game just to keep it close.
Absolutely. That is when you play a good team like that on the road and it's your first game. Look, some things are going to be exposed. You're going to have some of the things that you talked about, but I thought there was a lot of positives in that game, and you pointed out the biggest one. Having watched VMI football for a long time, last season's the special team issues were really a problem. And you straighten that out. 2 PATs, 1 field goal, tackling multiple times behind the 20. I mean, if there's anything I think that stood out was, okay, looks like Coach Wack has fixed the special team woes. Mars Hill, look, you're at home, and you look at their defense as they did if you go back to the D1 tape they have, that was 1 year back. But if you look at their defense, they might look a little vulnerable in the secondary. They don't seem to have the speed there to match up with you guys. I would assume we're really going to see this thing aired out.
I'm sure Coach Clifton would like me to tell him on the phone what we're going to do. But, I think each game takes upon a story upon itself. And we are primarily a passing team because some of the passes that we throw we feel are ball control run games that are designed to stretch the defense sideline to sideline. So, the ball will be in the air for us more times than, a lot of times, definitely more than Citadel will throw it. But, if the run is there and there's a short box, we're going to be content to run the football, and we think we can do both equally well offensively this season.
Coach, this is a big game for you. You're at home. I don't want to put the pressure on, but you're at home. You're playing a D2 team. You're expected to win this game, so there's a lot of pressure on your players to come out and really don't give them a sense that they can win the game. Because, when you're on the other side of this, when you're the underdog and you're outmatched, and all of a sudden you get to the half and like it was against your SOCOM championship last season at 7-7, all of a sudden you give the other team hope and they think, hey, we can actually beat this team, right? So you don't want to do that. So you got to get off to the fast start. When I talk to you next week, what is the one thing tomorrow, Saturday, that you want to say that you were able to do, that you want to be able to say in a week, you know what, we wanted to do this Saturday, and this is what we did? What is it, Coach?
Well, we want to do the same thing every Saturday. We've got a mission statement that's 10 toes down, And what that means is to be alert, to stand firm, to be a man, to be strong, and to do everything in love. And then we have 3 core values of grit, brotherhood, and purpose. And so we want to go out there and play with grit, which is resilience, the ability to overcome adversity. Or we want to play with brotherhood, and that means we're playing for each other. And we want to play with a purpose. And our purpose is to win football games, and our purpose is to be the best football player we can be when we're on the football field. And, I think that's what we're looking for in every game. Do we have the never say die attitude? Do we play football the way VMI is supposed to play football? Are we going to win football games the way the VMI football team is supposed to win the VMI way? Those are the things that I look for, every Saturday. How the game comes out, how we win it, how we do those things, not all that important. There's a lot of statistics out there. If you start fast, you have a better chance of winning the game. If you win the last 4 minutes of the second half and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, you have a better chance of winning the football game. If you win the turnover takeaway battle, if you win the explosive play battle, you have a better chance of winning the football game. So those are all things that you examine after the game. But while the game truly is going on, are we playing with grit, brotherhood, purpose, with all 10 toes down?
10 toes down. Coach Scott Wachenheim, big game at home, 1:30 kickoff, VMI in Lexington. That's Saturday, September 7th. You want to check it out. You can also hear the game if you can't be there live on all of our affiliates around Virginia, WLES, AM 590, Richmond and Central Virginia.